I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
You know, when that plays, it hasn't played in a long time. Bill Crane is joining us. He is in studio. I finally get the treatment that Aram and Von Hessler Doctrine got. He's in studio. Bill, welcome to the Shelley Winter Show. It's been a long time, my friend.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Shelley.
So
in person or on the phone.
I rather in person. I like in person.
Okay.
Let's talk municipal elections tomorrow. You and I talked about it on Mark Aram's show on Friday, but that's a different audience. Tell us what's going on and what we should look out for on tomorrow.
These are the runoffs for the municipal elections, which occurred on November the 4th, and it's for mayor in some places, city council, and others, municipal school boards. There are hot contests in Sandy Springs, where incumbent Mayor Rusty Paul
I'm for Rusty.
on his hand. I would vote for Rusty Paul if I was in Sandy Springs. Roswell has a tough race. And then the real kind of elbow shootout is South Fulton.
South Fulton, let me tell you, South Fulton, I was very proud when South Fulton started as a new city, right? And I envisioned South Fulton to be similar to Sandy Springs and Brookhaven, right? I saw the growth. I saw, a thriving downtown area, all of the things. All I've seen from South Fulton is fighting. That's it. Arguments, fighting, name-calling. It's unserious people running South Fulton, and it seems to be, I'm for Carmelita Gums. Mark Baker, I know him, is a very good guy. I've known Carmelita Gums longer, but I just don't understand the restraining orders, club videos. I'm just like, what's going on?
The city of Stonecrest had some of the same kind of adolescent growing pains out the gate and a few officers removed. I think some of it is first-timers running for elected office. Some of it is racial. Some of it is a level of personal attack that you really have to look at the Georgia GOP, as you were talking about before the break, to see an effort not just to disagree with someone politically or win an election, but to destroy them. That I don't understand.
I don't understand it either.
I've done work in the city of College Park, and they're kind of engaged in the same sort of back and forth between a mayor and a city council, where the mayor is more or less the procedural officer who runs the meetings but doesn't have a vote unless there's a tie, and members of city council and the public has gotten involved, and it's gotten really kind of body blows, and I just don't understand it. You have to believe most people who put themselves up for a public office, they don't make a lot of money.
Right.
It's a lot of volunteer time, that their motivations are good or pure, or at least that they want to serve their community. They just have a different approach. And then you get in there and you're accusing each other, like the city of Stone Mountain, where the voters tossed the mayor and the entire city council, all of the incumbents. Right. The voters will eventually have enough of it.
Right. And South Fulton is just, I've never seen anything like it. And it's constant. It's new people running. It's the same thing that happened when the old people are running. Rusty Paul's race in Sandy Springs. I don't understand that race. I don't see, is it Dante Carter?
I think
I don't understand why he's doing so well. This is an entrenched, well-run city. A lot of growth, a huge tax base. Why would you turn it over to a young man who's never had elected office before?
It's an outsider kind of election. So Mayor Paul has been mayor of the city of Stone Mountain. He served in the state senate. He's chaired the Republican Party. And he's a very smart guy, good businessman. But through all of that, he's also sort of become a my way or the highway kind of guy.
Gotcha.
So whether we're talking about the development of city center or people who have served with him on city council, or as his chief of police, there's the way and there's the Rusty Paul way.
Gotcha.
And if you've been rolled over a few times for not going the Rusty Paul way,
understood,
I think that's built up.
But do you go with a young kid?
I wouldn't. I would vote for Rusty Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I would just tell Mr. Paul, hey, Rusty, I support you, but hey, kind of, dial it back a little bit. But this is what happens when you don't dial it back. Because I like Mr. Carter. I've never met him. I've heard a lot about him from friends of mine. But I'm like, why would you turn over such a thriving city over to someone that's never had electoral?
Point, or more like some of the problems.
I just don't understand. And I'm watching, some of the TV shows locally here, and I'm seeing, let me say it, Theron Johnson, who just moved to Sandy Springs, saying he likes Carter. I'm like, dude, you just moved there. You don't get to tell people who to vote for. You just moved there. But why did you move there? You moved there because it was well run by Rusty Paul for the last 12 years.
Tax base is solid.
Right.
They're growing. Yeah.
That's why you moved there. Now you want to change it all over. I don't know.
And by the way, that is a strong mayor city where the mayor has a
lot of power.
In
right.
The
other race, Roswell. What are we looking at there?
I think the incumbent also, he's not Jerry Wood. He's not been there 20 years, but I think he'll also take the election. But similarly, people after a period of time being told my way, my way, will revolt.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's a lesser of that in Roswell, but I think the incumbent mayor will be reelected.
Let's forget the city council races. Let's go to Venezuela. You have a piece out today, One Man's Opinion. I suggest to everyone, how can people get that on a regular basis like I do?
Here on WSBRadio.com, or go to Substack, and or if you click on the link on my WSBRadio.com, you'll be able to subscribe, and it comes to your email inbox weekly free.
So what did you talk about this week? Because I'm going to talk about Venezuela later. I want to hear what you had to say.
As you did at the top of the show, I said, are we now pirates? I compared to what happened to starting 2012 with Somali pirates on the coast of West Africa, taking cruise ships, oil tankers, cargo ships over after they got what they wanted off the ship, in many cases ransoming the crews back to their shipping companies. It's still going on, but not to that extent. And we're now sending our naval ships. We've got an aircraft carrier in the Caribbean now, not far off the coast of Venezuela. For what? These little dinky drug boats, if they're drug boats. If they had made it into U.S. waters 12 miles within our shoreline, the Coast Guard would go out, they'd interdict, they'd take the ship, they'd pull it into, tug it into harbor. They'd
take a big picture of the drugs.
Take a big picture of whatever they found on it. Right. They'd look actually first. Drones are very effective, but they really can't tell you what's in the cargo hold. And then they'd charge or not charge. They're just blowing these ships out of the water, and the president's justifying it as narco-terrorism. They haven't mentioned fentanyl in a week or two.
Right.
I don't think those boats have fentanyl on them. And I do want your listeners to know, when I had my surgery for dealing with my cancer, fentanyl is also used legally as a narcotic. It was a pretty effective. It knocked me out for an 8-hour surgery. Are we trying to do statecraft? We want their oil. We want the current head of the country's out. The president spoke with him on November 30th and said, Mr. Maduro, or I'll let you, your wife, and your son out of the country. We'll protect you. We'll take you out safely. But it's a one-day, 24-hour offer. And Maduro's response was, if I can get a global pardon for any past president or future crimes, I'll take the deal. Because we know he's probably got money squirreled away in multiple occasions.
Right.
They said no. So that ended that conversation. The president shut down their airspace.
Because he's smart enough to know, once you let me into safe harbor, you're going to arrest me.
Correct.
Yeah.
And charge me.
And charge me, right.
So the airspace has been closed by the U.S. president.
Which is an act of war.
Which is an act of war. FAA has notified all civil aviation pilots there not to fly in, land, or pick up passengers. It's escalating rapidly. And we now know that, as you talked about earlier the show, there was an earlier hit in September, and there's drone footage of it, that there were survivors floating on debris of the ship in the water that normally you would have picked up, treated more or less as prisoners of war, and taken them in. But apparently the order was given. We're kind of debating over who gave it.
Right.
They were killed.
Which tells you everything you need to know about the legality of the order, because anybody, like Carolyn Levitt said clearly, Pete Hegseth gave the order to Admiral Bradley. So they're establishing this kind of chain of command. And so we're going to see what happens there. Look, I know one thing.
Name William Calley ring a bell?
I know one thing. Many names come to mind. But let me tell you this. This is what I know. I do know that everyone called Tucker Carlson a Putin stooge for Putin doing the exact same thing that we're doing. The exact same thing. Putin said, I don't want NATO on my border. I don't want a U.S. backcountry on my border. We're saying we don't want Russia and China backcountry in our hemisphere, so we're just going to take out the leader. And Putin said, I'm just going to take out the leader. Putin's wrong for doing the exact same thing we're doing. We're just as wrong. We're just as wrong. Bill Crane, how can people get in touch with you?
Bill Crane, bill.csicrane@gmail.com, or you can find me on most of the socials, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
We went long, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. 448-720-750, 1-800-WSB-TALK.
Bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill.
you can count on it.
You can try and plan for